Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to the Ultimate Virtual Assistant Summit. Today we have April Wilhelm. I'm sorry, Wilhelm. She's joining us she's stationed in Japan, but she here is in sunny California. It's nice and crisp this year. And she's with the International Preneur Agency, and she's my OBM. I wanted to show everybody what an OBM is, what an OBM can do for your business, and how much an OBM could actually take control of your business, and you could grow. So while you're handling this, that OBM is handling all of this to help you. So here's April to talk to us, to explain how she can make your life so much easier. So welcome, April.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm super excited.
Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, April. Who you are, your background of your business, and how your business got started.
Absolutely. So, as you said, my name is April. I'm a military spouse. So my husband is active duty in the Navy. We are currently stationed in Yokosuka, Japan, which is a naval base. We've been there. My husband's been there for almost 4 years. I've been there for almost 2. So I love it. It's amazing. And pretty much a little bit about me is that I love to travel, and I started off doing everyday jobs as anyone else could imagine. I did retail, and I did, restaurant. And as I was in those entry-level positions, I started growing in those jobs and in those companies. And I'd always moved towards that business marketing side. I had a flair for it. I loved it. I love making customers happy. It's very creative, but still in that business field and kind of having control and understanding your clientele. And I don't know why, but I just gravitated very well towards that. And I kind of loved that.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, I was a single mom for a couple of years before I met my husband. And, I was working that 9-to-5 grind. I was working multiple jobs. I was trying to go to school, and it was very, very hard. And then when I met my husband, we got married, and then he kind of swooped me off my feet and took me to Japan. And I realized that jobs are even more limited over there in another country. And I was like, what could I do that I love to do? And then what else can I do to help people and kind of be a change, have an impact, but focus on a lot of my skills. I was very tired of doing something that I didn't love, and working hours where I couldn't be with my son or my family. Having an active duty spouse, their schedule always changes. So family time was very, very important to me, and being there and being present and being able to take time off when he was able to was very important. So I kind of wrote down all these things that were important to me, and I was like, okay, how can I find a career that's going to be able to complement what I want in my life and in my lifestyle? And that's when I found, becoming a virtual assistant, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with helping women entrepreneurs just because I could connect with them, and being able to really highlight my skills and do something I love and enjoyed every single day.
Well, that's great. Yeah. So let's tell everybody what an OBM is, because honestly, as a new virtual assistant coming on, I saw OBM and I was like, I couldn't get it. So I had to ask. So I know it's just not me, but explain to everybody, what is an OBM?
So an OBM is an online business manager. It's really funny because I was in the same position as you. I was a virtual assistant for so long, and finally I had a client tell me, April, you do way more than what a virtual assistant entails. You're more like a business manager. And I was like, I wonder if there's a job title for that. So I did the Google search like any other person would do. And I came across OBM, and I was like, oh my God, yes. And as I was reading the description for it, I was like, this is what I really love to do. I like to be hands-on in someone's business. I want to tear it apart, and I want to put it back together. And I want it to not only fit, but I want it to work better. And that's what an online business manager does. I'm a very visual person. So I love to explain it where someone is hands deep in your business and really taking control, organizing it, putting systems in place, making it easier on the owner. And it's called lean, and you're making it leaner. So you're taking all the fatty and craziness out of your business, and you're making it very structural, and you're making it come together and taking out any extra parts that you don't need, any extra time that shouldn't be there. Time's very important. It's almost more important than money. I tell people that all the time.
It's true.
Your time is just, it's, to me, it's one of the most important thing people cherish. And I was like, you don't want to waste your time on things in your business when you could be putting it towards more beneficial areas and to yourself as well. So an online business manager really is just not only taking that management portion out of your business, putting everything together, taking control, and really putting systems in place for you.
Okay, so as somebody who's never had a virtual assistant before, whose business is like basically mid-level and is growing, as an OBM, like what would you do for them? They have no systems. They don't have anything because they didn't know. As an OBM, what would OBM come in and do for them? Like if
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you already said it. They have no systems in place. So when you're running around and if you think about it, with your chicken has their head cut off. I don't know if you ever heard of that saying. But you're running around and you're trying to do everything at once and you wish you had 10 hands. That's where an online business manager will come into place. It's like, hey, wait, I want you to focus on what you're good at. Are you good at connecting with your audience? Are you good at just doing podcasts and speaking your truth and what you need? Are you a fitness coach and you want to just help people stay in shape and live better lifestyles? You don't want to deal with all the other pieces running a business. And running a business is very hard. A lot of people,
yes.
They wake up and they're like, I want to have my own business. And they're like, I want to just do this. But then you have to think about the financial portion. Then you need to think about the management. Are you going to have employees? Are you going to be a solopreneur? How do you want to grow and expand? There's just so many moving pieces, and that can be very overwhelming, especially when you just want to wake up and do what you were meant to do and what you were put on this earth to do. You don't want to focus on stuff you don't like to do. And that's where an online business manager comes in. It's like, hey, pause, relax, drink some wine, and do what you are meant to do, and let me handle the rest. Do you need employees? Do you need to outsource work? I have that handled. You want to put some systems in place and some team management or just organize your business, that's where I'm here for. And kind of like I said, I like to dig my hands deep in your business and streamline it. So I love one of my favorite clients I work for. She is in a multi-level business, and she has a lot of moving parts around. But her biggest dream was just to speak to her audience about health and how living a healthy lifestyle can just be beneficial, mind and body. And that's what she's good at. She's amazing. And I kind of help the moving pieces along. I help her with her passive income. I help her with her downline. I also help her sell her products. And I pretty much focus a lot on marketing. I'm a marketing strategist. It's kind of like my forte. And so I help her get all of those systems in place, all of her email marketing, her ads, coming up with a 3 to 6 month marketing strategy plan. I like to call it my taking over the world plan, how she's going to dominate in her field. And we sit down and we talk about that. And after that, she knows like, hey, there's a plan in place. The wheels are moving, but I can also just focus on this. And if
she focused on speaking.
Exactly. And if she was ever curious, what's really great about an online business manager is there's going to be a plan in place. So she's going to know where every moving part is going. So she doesn't need to know all the details, like what's going in, but she's going to be very aware of the major pieces that are moving and how they are moving. And that's also really big about being an online business manager, is teaching those entrepreneurs about their business. So not just taking over their business, but teaching and being their partner in crime per se.
Yeah, that way they could trust you with everything that's going on. Exactly. So quick question, because we talk about systems. What are the systems? Because I know they're probably like, okay, what do you mean by systems? I have my email. What else do I need? You know what I mean? I have an email. I have, my credit card machine, Stripe. What are systems? So can you just explain like what the OBM would do with the system? Like what systems would the OBM put in place for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So it really just depends on the business, of course. But when it's coming down to a basic business, when you are selling a product, you're going to have systems in place on your platforms. So when you are selling a product, are you selling it through e-commerce on through a website? Are they going to get it shipped to them, or is it a downloadable PDF? You know, different things like that. How is it going to get there? So you kind of want to think about what I'm going to put in systems in place is the what and the how and the when.
Right.
What product are they getting? How are they getting it? And when are they getting it? How are they getting it through those payments, right? So we want to make sure, what platform are you using? Stripe? Are you using card, PayPal? What system are you using? Kind of like FreshBooks. PayPal has their own invoicing. I'm going to say this wrong. Debsato.
Debsato.
I use it and I still can't pronounce it. It's awful. It's one of my favorites. But you want to know how, like,
that one.
Right? It's like how are you going to keep track of that? Your receipts, taxes are very important. You want to make sure you can back that up. So that's different systems just for that financial portion. But then you're also going to think about, how are they getting that product? Is it through that email?
Yes.
Is it going to be through the USPS system? Who's packaging? Do you have a warehouse? Different systems from that as well. And then also just, how are you getting to your audience? How are they going to know that you have a product for them? Do you have an email marketing campaign? Are you giving a free product? And then how are you going to keep those clients coming back?
Right.
So there's different moving parts, which is where that OBM is going to come in, and they're going to be like, we're going to use this platform, and this is going to channel your what, your why, and when. And this is how they're going to do it. Do you want it over 3 days? Do you want it over 5 days? How fast? You know, it's Christmas time. We're all wondering if we're going to get those Amazon packages in time, right? That's kind of where your OBM is also going to take charge and make sure all your clients are going to get that in a respectable, timely manner and how they're going to get it. So hopefully that helps. There's a lot of different platforms out there, which is very hard to explain and can seem very overwhelming. Something that I've really fallen my hands into is Kajabi. I don't know if you heard of it, but it's almost an all-in-one system. And it's one of my favorites because you do your email marketing on there. You have your products on there. You have your finances. You can go through Stripe or PayPal on there, and it keeps everything together. So it's an all-in-one system, which is great, but there's still moving parts in that all-in-one system. So an online business manager is going to be able to keep track of everything.
And somebody has to set it up.
Exactly. Someone has to set it up. And honestly, we all love technology, right? We're currently doing this over a computer. It's amazing. But technology fails.
Yes, it does.
And we've all been there sometimes, right? Our computer, I spill coffee all the time. It's a hot mess. You want to be able to have those backups. You're going to want somebody to know and understand your business to the core, because if something happens, you don't want to be freaking out with your head cut off. You're like, oh my God, I don't know how to put everything back together, or I lost so much. You want somebody also keeping that accountable for you. So that's why I'm like, don't just rely on a computer or a certain platform. You want to rely on somebody who knows that business in and out, who can be there for you just in case that does happen. You know, prepare for the worst, but hope for the best.
Exactly. That's so true. So how long were you a virtual assistant before you became into an OBM?
2 years. Maybe even longer, because I did do it very freelancing. I did a lot of internships. So maybe four or five overall, kind of on and off, still working those 9 to 5 jobs in the meantime.
Trying to squeeze something in during lunch.
Absolutely. Any extra income, you know, I was a single mom. I was working that grind, you know, gotta keep the lights on and buy my son clothes, and, you know, kids are expensive and I have expensive tastes. I have Starbucks every day, very expensive. But yeah, so I've been doing it for a while, but I really transitioned to an online business manager when I realized I started coaching women into business, and I was starting helping them with more than just assistant tasks. You know, I feel like a lot of times when people become virtual assistants, they start going and growing into their niche, where things they absolutely love, whether it's just the administrative side or if it's that graphic design, the creativity, they find their specialty. And my specialty became really understanding that back end of their business and making sure all the pieces work together. Because I I became family with my clients. I loved long-term clients. I love
Mhm.
to get to know them. And then I was like, oh my God, I want you to succeed. I will make you succeed. And that's when I realized like that's the role I want to take on in the business.
Yeah, because if they succeed, you succeed because you guys are still working together. That's your business right there.
Exactly. Like that's probably the best employee you could ever have is because they know your business inside and out, and they want you to succeed because all of that hard work they're pouring in, they want to see that success. They want to see that ending to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I feel like as an online business manager, you really develop a relationship with that business. Like I always joke, I'm like I'm a workaholic. My husband knows this. I love working. I'm a very much more of a career woman,
Mm-hmm.
and I really do have relationships with these businesses because I am always, even on my off time, learning more, taking extra classes, and really just putting my whole soul into wanting to become a better online business manager so I can serve a better purpose for my clients because I want those businesses to succeed. So yeah, so I put in a lot of dedication and love and sweat and tears.
So as an OBM, do you have certain like your specialty, like your specialty skill, like as an OBM, or is it just a manager over everything, or is there a certain specialty?
I really specialize in marketing strategies.
Okay.
I really like to set them up um, for a long life. I like to
Mm-hmm.
say a long lasting life. Sustainability is something that a lot of people worry about when they start a business venture. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, that's why they stay on to that 9 to 5 for so long. Or their partners are like, oh, it's more of a hobby. It's not a career field because
Yes.
it's not sustainable. We always have these mindsets. If it's not a 9 to 5 job, if you're not getting paid a direct deposit, you
Mm-hmm.
never know when you're going to lose it. And I want to bring sustainability into a business. So not only do I want to hook them up with a really good back end and with
Right.
systems, but with a long-term marketing strategy plan. And that's what I always add into value when I work with my clients is that 3 to 6 month domination plan I was talking about, because I
Mm-hmm.
want them to dominate in their field. I want them to be able to take over the world and succeed long term.
Well,
So that
so,
is my specialty.
so what is like your process? Somebody hires you as an OBM. So do you guys get on a call and chat, and then they tell you their business, and then you lay out the plan for them? So how do
So
you do everything for them so they could see, okay, she just laid out a 3-month plan for me.
yeah, absolutely. So I like to say I put on my FBI hat and I'll get on a call with them. It's 45 minutes long, 45 to 60 minutes. And I hear all about them. I pretty much let the client talk
Yes.
and what their goals are, how they start their business, what their why is. And they tell me about their business. And then we talk about their struggles. And once I hear from the client, I'm like, okay, I want access to your business. That's where I roll up my sleeves and I go hands on. And then I can see a bigger picture because the client only sees a certain perspective.
Mm-hmm.
They 90% of the time they don't fully understand their business. They don't fully understand what they have and how to get to what they want. And they're like, "Oh, I'm having all these problems, but I have all these goals." And half the time those problems aren't problems. They're just not doing what the client wants.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I dive in. I'm like, okay, this isn't connecting, or this is doing this, but you don't want that in there. And that's where I just dive deep. And that's where I get the other story of how their business runs. That usually takes me 3 to 5 business days to really dig deep into their system, depending on how big the business is. And
Okay.
then I take all the information and I go back with the client. I'm like, hey, this is what I see. Is
Mm-hmm.
this what you want? And a lot of times it's just me explaining what they have going on in their business, and they'll be like, oh, I didn't realize that, or oh no, I don't want any of that, or oh, I'm making this super complicated. I had one person who was sending out like emails, her marketing emails, in 3 different places. She's like, well, I signed up for MailChimp and then I signed up for MailerLite, and I was trying to figure out which one was better. So she had half of her email list on one platform, half on the other. And it was making life 10 times harder for her.
Right.
And I
Right.
was like, no, I don't want you to be a floater per se, floating on all these different platforms. Let's really make it into one very simple process for you. Because again, I
Mm-hmm.
want my clients to understand how their business works. that's just becoming a better business owner, and I want them to be very successful in their business. And
Right.
so after I talk about their goals again, I just repeat information, just making sure there's clear communication, clear goals. I usually go back, set up a drawing board, and I come to a 3 to 6 month marketing strategy plan, how to get there, what systems need to be in place, and how to put those systems in place. You really want to do a cause and effect scenario with them, because you had this going on. This in turn, it was the effect of it. This was the chaos. This was not working, or this is how you could do better.
Right.
And then this is how I'm going to get there with this system and with this platform. And then how it's going to bring into effect into your business.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's a lot.
So I like to do a full blueprint plan.
But I mean, they need it.
They do. It's building a house. When I'm such a visual person. I'm so sorry.
I am too.
You're building a house, so you need to have your plans, right? You need to talk to an architecture that's going to understand your business inside and out. And this is where virtual assistants come in, right? They're specialized in drywalling, in painting, in building, and in electrical. They're amazing. And you want those people in your business too. And you're going to build this gorgeous house, this gorgeous business, but you need to have a good foundation.
You do.
You need to understand how to put up walls. You need to understand what's needed in a house and what you want in a house. You get to be the decorator as an owner, which is great. That's the flexibility. That's building the dream career of your life. But you also are going to need that extra help, because are you an electrician? Are you a plumber? Do you understand flooring? You know
I'm going backwards.
Yep. We don't know those. And we want to hire experts in those fields. And as an online business manager, I'm the architect. I'm telling people what I need, where it needs to go, and how to make it a seamless project for you to have your house within 3 to 6 months.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so this is what I love.
Awesome.
It's like I can't even think of the word right now, but
orchestra.
Yes, you know what I mean? Orchestra. The conductor. So that's what you are as an online business manager. So you're just making everything very seamless.
It's true. So we all have those tasks that's kind of like lights us up. As soon as we know we're going to do it, we're like, I'm going to do it. What is one that lights you up every time when it's time to do it?
It's consistency, but it's that organization. It's putting together all of those systems in place. It's putting together that marketing plan for them and being able to have that design, that idea from a client who's like, April, this is my dream business. This is my heart and soul. I want you to help me make it happen. And when I'm sitting there in front of my computer with all of my notes, with my list of demands for my awesome client, that's what lights me up every day, is being able to merge that together and to help them design that dream career field for them.
See, that's good, because some people don't like organization, or they don't know how to do it.
Right. It's hard. Project management. It's I've taken the certification. It's hard. You know?
I saw that one. I saw that course.
It's rough, but you know what? If you do what you love, it's not as hard. It's why there's doctors and lawyers and architects, because to me, I can't draw. I can't even draw a stick figure correctly without a ruler. Okay. And that's hard to me, but to somebody who's an artist, that's easy. That's like breathing air. So we all have such, like, all of our different skills, and kind of what you said, that lights us up. Exactly. And it's just finding that and honing in on that, and you can make a career out of anything just by having that passion and that drive for what you love.
You really do. So how do you, with everything, all your clients that you have, how do you keep everything organized day by day? What do you use to keep yourself organized?
I love Asana. Keeps everything that's organized and color coded and has dates and notes, and I can add my clients in. I can add any outsourcing work that I have. I have my own personal VA. She's great. She learned how to manage it, so it's fantastic. It literally does it all, and it makes me so happy.
I'm still learning Asana.
I will be honest though, the first time I tried using it, I cried and went back to Trello. I was like, nope, can't do it. Not happening. And then I took a really awesome course.
Oh, did you?
Yes, highly recommend. Profit Planners, Asana for Entrepreneur course. It's amazing. I took that after listening to her podcast, and I think it finally clicked. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. And sometimes, like I said, I'm a very visual person. So I can tell I can watch YouTube videos. I can hear somebody telling me how to do it. I can read how to do it. But until I have someone literally showing me how to do it, you have these great copy and paste. And once I did that, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. I could do it hands-on without the copy and paste, and I could create it and change it up to fit me and my needs. And that made the difference for me. So it's all about how we learn.
Yeah, because I did my mentorship program, and she said, okay, we're going to use Asana. And I think I messed something up. I need this step for Asana. I believe I do need step by step, but I'm at Trello right now. I'll be graduating soon.
Yeah. You know what? I used Trello for 3 years. It works. And that's what's so cool about, all these different platforms, is that there isn't just one that's going to magically work for everyone. There's so many different options because we all have different needs, and we all learn differently, and we all need visual different things. I love Trello for that Post-it note way.
Yeah.
If you looked at my wall, my poor husband, in our kitchen, we had Post-it notes everywhere. And because that's where I worked out of. I worked out of my kitchen, and I had my lovely Post-it notes all over the wall. And he was just like shaking his head every time. He's like, this is why we don't have people over.
But then you can say, but this is how I make my money.
Exactly, right?
Okay, let's talk about client boundaries, because that's a big one. How do you set them up with your clients to provide a high level of success? Like, what are your boundaries, or how do you tell your clients, this is what's going on? It's Saturday, family time, How do you explain your boundaries?
Everything's written in my contract, and I go over it fully with my client before I have them sign it. And then I make sure it's highlighted so they can read it again as a refresher. But like I said in the beginning, time is very, very important. And for me, spending time with my family, spending time with my husband, I'm a workaholic. So if I didn't have boundaries, I would work for 24 hours a day, every day. If somebody was like, hey, April, I need this now, I'd be like, I don't care. I could be in the middle of a plane or taking my son to school. I'd be like, yeah, sure, I got you. So I had to learn that the very hard way. Like, my husband was like, hey, you are too involved. I need you to come back to reality. And I was like, okay, good point. So my biggest thing is just making clear boundaries with your clients in the beginning, through that contract, through that initial consultation. I don't work on weekends. I don't work on US holidays. When I was in Japan, there's extra holidays in Japan that were very important for me. So I added those holidays in just so they would know. Not every person who lived in, California or in America was like, what's Kids Day? Well, in Japan, it's a day to celebrate children turning the ages 1, 3, and 5. And it was a huge, huge holiday that's celebrated there. And of course, I have a child, so he was turning 5. That was very big for us. So, and then also, you need to have boundaries with yourself, making sure you turn off certain apps or certain programs on your phone so you're not glued to your phone.
I'm learning that.
And I always like to remind my clients at the end of the day, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'll be out of the office. If you do send me something over the weekend, feel free, but I will not be able to, see it or respond to it until my next business day. Obviously, my long-term clients, I don't have to do that anymore. But it was really good to do that in the beginning with those new clients, because sometimes they get excited. I don't know about you, but like when you have like a great idea and you're just bouncing off the walls, you want to do it right then and there.
Yes.
Well, if you aren't working, that poor client can be like, April. Well, girlfriend's, outside playing with her kid, isn't going to see her phone. So being able to remind my clients, like, hey, if you have a great idea or if you want something done, feel free to send me over that information. And as soon as I'm back in the office, I'll be there first thing in the morning. So
what are your hours?
My hours is it was 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then I sometimes did, depending on where my client was, for them, they would have specific hours. I tended it to my clients' needs because they were all in different countries and I was in a different country. So I just make sure my Asana and my Google Calendar was kind of marked, color-coded for each client and the hours they worked specifically for that client. which is also another thing. When you become a, you know, a good VA and you have multiple like clients coming in, you're going to have to figure out how to manage your time with each client, because you can't say you work 9 to 4 with 6 different clients, because then they're all attacking you 9 to 4.
Exactly.
So certain clients had certain hours during the day. But I knew that I like to work overall 9 to 4 p.m. because that's when my son was in school, so my husband worked. But certain clients, I only worked Mondays and Tuesdays. And that could have been 9 to 10 a.m., just depending on the workload and things like that.
Depends on the workload.
Yeah. And kind of like things that I work for. I have a client, she has 5 hours of work for me, and I get it done every Sunday night when my son goes to bed. Super simple. I stay up late, I get it all done, and that's her day. So that's kind of like just depends on you, your lifestyle, and your client's workload, and what they expect for you, and due dates and things like that.
Okay. Have you ever had a client that wasn't satisfied with what was going on, of how their business was run? And then since communication is a big key of everything, how did you handle it?
Absolutely. I actually listened to a wonderful podcast right before this happened. It was called Breaking Up with Your Clients.
Oh, okay.
So it was just perfect timing. I had a client that was my dream client, and I also had recently found out I was pregnant, and I was going through a lot of complications in the beginning of my pregnancy. And I did not give my best work for that client, and she was with all her right to be very like upset. And I had to really communicate what was going on with me and why I couldn't. And so you kind of have to understand your lifestyle and what's going on in your life and how you're producing work for your clients. So I had talked to her, and she's just like, oh, well, this was my expectation. And then it turned out like we weren't even on the same communication terms. So there was a lot of miscommunication going on. That's always the hard part when you're communicating online through email, not in person.
It gets misinterpreted.
Yeah, everyone misinterprets things so easily. I have fully decided that from now on, I do everything over Zoom when I do consultations and when I talk to my clients, because it's so much easier to talk to a client. You don't misinterpret a lot of things. Just like you're talking to them in person. Emails can be really, really hard.
Exactly.
And that was a hard lesson. So not only did I have a lot of personal things going on, but she had a lot of miscommunication stuff going on too. And it was a very hard thing, but we had both mutually decided like this wasn't the right fit for that right time. A month later, she reached back out to me to do a one-off project, and I was able to do that for her. I think same day, I want to say, and she was super grateful, and she's like, I still like vouch for you, and I still tell people about you. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Things happen, and I tell people that all the time. I tell other VAs that I'm like, you're not going to be able to please everyone, and that's a harsh reality, which is really why it's so important to work with dream clients. And even though she was one of my dream clients, things still happen. And you just have to be very professional about it and be very respectful, even if there's miscommunications and it's not your fault or things happen. Like me, there was nothing I could control. Things just had happened. You just have to be very respectful of the situation of both parties, because you guys are both business people. And, you can't take anything personally.
No, you can't. Wow. So with the clients that you have now, how do you communicate with them? Is it just email, Asana? I use Boxer for mine.
So I'm probably I don't like Boxer, and I think it was because of my phone. I just upgraded to an iPhone, but I think the phone I had before just wasn't working well with the app. So I wasn't getting a lot of messages and things like that, or I wasn't getting notified properly, or it could have been user error. Completely give that to myself. So I do everything over Zoom through Asana and through, I have a stateside phone number. So any of my clients who are stateside, or if they have iPhones, they can message me that way too. But if there's anything urgent or if I need clarifications, I always be like, let's hop on Zoom, because I want that clear communication.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially if it's urgent, because you don't want any miscommunication at all.
It's so hard. And, it's the sad thing about technology is you can't read someone's personality over the phone.
Yeah.
You can't understand their mood. You can't understand, we're always double guessing. Oh, she wrote in all caps. Well, it could have been an accident. That has happened to me. You know what I mean?
She's yelling at me.
I know. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? And she's like, no, sorry. I was like rushing and I just had it all in caps. I didn't want it to be rude. I'm like, no, it's fine. It all happens. Things don't always work out perfectly as we wish it were. And technology, as great as it is, sometimes things happen. So just being able to speak to somebody, whether it's on the phone or over through Zoom online, it's 10 times better.
Yeah, it is. It is. So let's see. If your client isn't familiar with the systems, as in Asana, how do you train them online how do you train them? Okay, this is the system. This is what's good for us. This is what we should use instead of just straight email. What is it how do you train your clients to move on to Asana or Trello?
I do two things. So if they have a preferred platform, I'm willing to 100% go over to their platform. If they are willing to learn a new platform, I will dedicate an hour out of my day to go over everything that they're going to need and what to expect from me and how to expect it on their end. So what I love about Zoom is that you can show your screen while videoing the other person, and I have them show their screen and I go over where they can find it. I record the video and send it to them, so if they forget, they can always refer back to it and be like, oh, this is what it means.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Because like you said, a lot of people is visual.
Yeah.
And when you see it online, you can say, okay, got it, step by step.
Exactly. And it was so great. I had one of my clients, she taught me a whole new platform. It was like Woofu. And I probably said that wrong. It's so bad. And she did that. She showed me over Zoom and I was like, this is amazing. And then she's like, yeah, and you can she's like, I recorded it for you so you can just keep it in case you have any questions and I can't answer right away. And I'm like, that's smart because you aren't supposed to be glued to your phone 24/7. That's not the lifestyle we all want, right?
Right.
And so it's nice to be able to not be bugged when there's an inconvenience. You want smart people, smart employees to be able to figure things out, but setting them up for success like that and setting your clients up for success by giving those resources to them makes it so much easier on all parties.
It really does. We don't want our clients to be glued to their phone and be stuck, and then it's not healthy for us either.
Exactly.
Because go crazy after a while. So in closing, what is it that you would like to tell the audience, tell everybody about OBMs and why they should hire an OBM and how it would help their business, and letting everybody know?
If you are tired every day, if your business wears you out, you're doing something wrong. And it might be because you are wearing too many hats. And girlfriend, 100% to you, because it's hard. It's hard to run a business. It's hard to be an entrepreneur. But don't be afraid to delegate and hire an OBM to be able to take some of those hats for you so you can relax. The whole point of an online business manager is for you to focus on what you were made to do, what you love to do, and what inspires you to wake up every single day. That is my goal. That's my passion. And I know that's so many others who are business managers' passions as well. Be inspired and be excited for what you do. Don't be stressed. And another great reason to hire an online business manager is you get a best friend in a box half the time, because they're going to be a fresh set of eyes and they're going to be there and they're going to want you to succeed just as much as you do. So I definitely recommend it. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to speak to an online business manager. Get that free consult and see what they can offer you as a business owner. You'll be able to see the difference in their eyes when they're speaking about how they could help your business, because you're going to realize that's how you were when you were explaining your business, when you were getting excited talking about your business. You're going to see that passion both ways. Yeah, that is so true. And I think the biggest word is delegate. Yes, delegate. You know what? Delegate. You can't do everything by yourself. You don't want to do it all. You don't want to work 24 hours. You know, why we left our 9-to-5 jobs is why we want to leave those 9-to-5 jobs, is we want to have that flexibility to design the lifestyle that we personally want. We don't want to be tied down. We want to be able to have that freedom. And whatever that freedom means to you, focus on that as your goal and be able to delegate that extra nonsense, that extra work.
It's true. I went to an event and she was speaking about hiring people. She said, stay in your zone.
Stay in your zone of genius.
That's exactly what she
Stay
said.
out of my zone. I don't want you here. Let me do what I'm here to do. Let me here to do what I'm made to do, because I just want to help you.
Yes. So the key is delegate. That's the key word of this event. Delegate. It will help you. It really would.
Yes.
So yay. So I would like to thank April for her time. She's once again a part of the Intentionalpreneur Agency. Perfect OBM to help you stay in your zone of genius while she stay in her zone of genius to help your business grow. So I would like to thank April again. Thank everybody for watching and see you soon. Yay. Okay, how do I stop? I'll be editing.